My ranch sits miles away from the nearest city. For years, my radio system kept me connected across the property. The tower on my hill was essential to ranch operations. Then one morning, every radio suddenly went dead. At first, I thought it was a simple equipment failure. I checked the batteries, receivers, and power connections. Everything looked normal, except the radios remained completely silent. That made no sense. I tested every channel one by one. Nothing came through. Even the backup channel was silent. Something had happened at the tower. I grabbed my keys and drove toward the tower. The road climbed through the north pasture. From a distance, the tower looked completely normal, but the equipment cabinet at its base was another story. The cabinet door was unlocked. Inside, I found equipment that absolutely did not belong to my ranch system. There were extra cables, network devices, radios, and power supplies. Someone had installed an entirely different setup. I recognized some of the equipment immediately. It wasn't ranch communication hardware. It looked like a private security network. And then I noticed the HOA logo on one of the devices. That's when everything clicked. The HOA had somehow connected its security system to my tower. They had installed their equipment inside my cabinet. Without asking me, I called Karen immediately. She arrived less than an hour later. Instead of apologizing, she said the equipment was necessary for neighborhood security. I asked her who gave her permission. Karen claimed the tower was strategically important to the community. I reminded her that it stood on private ranch property. She said the HOA had invested money into security equipment. I told her that didn't make the tower theirs. Then Karen made an even bigger mistake. She admitted the HOA had installed everything without my written permission. She said they assumed I would eventually cooperate. I told her assumption was an authorization. I photographed every piece of equipment. I documented every cable and connection. I even recorded the serial numbers. I wanted a complete record before touching anything. Then I called Mike, a communications technician I trusted. He arrived with his diagnostic equipment. Within minutes, he discovered the reason my radios had gone silent. The HOA system was interfering with my network. Mike traced several connections through the cabinet. The HOA equipment had been integrated into my power and communication setup. One configuration had effectively disrupted my ranch frequencies. It wasn't just unauthorized, it was badly installed. Mike showed me the interference readings. The evidence was undeniable. Their security system had created a technical problem for my radios. That explained why everything had gone dead. Karen still insisted the equipment was necessary. Mike explained that necessity didn't excuse unauthorized installation. He also warned her that the system needed to be disconnected properly. Karen finally realized this was becoming serious. I contacted the county communications office. Daniel arrived to inspect the installation himself. He examined the tower, cabinet, wiring, and property records. Then he asked Karen, who authorized the installation. Karen couldn't provide a property owner authorization. Daniel checked the equipment against the available records. Nothing showed that the HOA had permission to use my tower. The installation was clearly on private property. Daniel explained that HOA ownership of equipment didn't equal ownership of my tower. He told Karen the installation had to be corrected. She tried arguing that the neighborhood depended on the system. Daniel simply repeated that private property rules still applied. Mike removed the unauthorized connections carefully. My original radio equipment was restored to its proper configuration. Within minutes, my handheld radio came back to life. The first clear transmission sounded better than music. The HOA had filled my tower cabinet with its own security gear. They thought their neighborhood justified taking control of my infrastructure. Instead, they lost access to equipment they never had permission to install. And my ranch radios were finally mine again.